Hi, welcome to the Morton Matchday Programme.
Controlling it, firing it in! What a goal that is for Morton! Outstanding striking!
Coming up in today's show, we'll be hearing the thoughts of Dougie Imrie ahead of this weekend's big game against St Johnstone. Laura Darragh will be telling us about her first competitive hat-trick. There's also a brand new item called Teammates, which will have Cammy Blues on it. There's an interview with Dylan Corr ahead of the game. And of course, we've got match highlights. The last time we played St Johnstone. Before all that though, it's Gaffer time.
Gaffer, it was obviously a tough result to take last week with the manner and the time of which we conceded. How's the reaction been from the boys in the training this week?
Yeah, the reaction is always good, Gareth. You know, we've got a really good group here this season. But the disappointing thing for me, when you look back, and obviously it's easy for me to come out after a game and go for players, and then the old cliche is always throw the players under the bus. So you had to kind of be careful how you worded Saturday after the game. But obviously looking back again over the game a number of times, you know, the work rate, the intensity just wasn't there, and that reflected on the stats and the data that we got back from the sports scientist, and that hurt me because that's never the case I can say about any of my teams in my time here at the football club, that we don't work hard enough, and that played a part to losing the game on Saturday, because in the time I've been here in this season, you know, we've matched teams all over the pitch and we just never done that on Saturday, and that led to the errors leading up to both goals. You know, we lose them at key points of the game, you know, straight on half time, and then 3 minutes before the end of the game, where it really gives you an uphill task to try and get back into the game. So that was my overall disappointment on Saturday, but in terms of this week, it's been lively, as I would expect.
You mentioned in there obviously the stats from the game, but what has your overall analysis been following that, and is there any specific areas that you've prepped on this week ahead of the game tomorrow? No,
there's nothing to prep. At the end of the day, the game nowadays is worked on is work rate and intensity, and we just never brought that to the game on Saturday, and that was my disappointment. You know, when you're in the moment, you don't really see that. It's when you come out of it and you go over things and you look at everything. You know, there's no hiding place for any player in any team anymore, and all over the world, not just here in our league, but all over the world. You're being tracked, you're being watched, so there's no hiding place. And that was my disappointment. You know, it's only our second loss of the season, so we're not going to get ourselves too down. You know, one of those losses was an error from the officials on the day as well. You know, we scored a legitimate goal and it got chopped off. So, but yeah, listen, we have to go again. You know, the game tomorrow's a tough game. You know, we're playing the league leaders, but we have been very, very good this season against a lot of the teams in this league. And there's no easy game. Every game's a tough game, and the game tomorrow will be no different. But it's a game for both teams to reevaluate and go again.
And tomorrow as well, it's two teams both coming off a loss, both hurting, looking to get back to winning ways. What challenge are you expecting from St Johnstone? Yeah,
it'll be a tough challenge. You know, they've only lost one game all season themselves. They've picked up, I think, 7 wins and 1 draw. So they're at the top of their game at the moment, and we have to be ready for that. Albeit the last 2 or 3 games they've not been at the levels that they've been at so far in the season. So we have to take advantage of that. Well, you're right. Both teams are coming off the back of defeats. Both teams will be looking to get back on that winning way, and we're no different. You know, we're back at home. We want to give the fans something to shout about. You know, we know ourselves that we need more wins. But like I say, I've been pretty pleased with the season so far, albeit Saturday wasn't anywhere near good enough.
Yeah, and when it comes to performances at home as well, it does almost feel like that win is coming. It's just at times we've been extremely unlucky. Yeah,
100%. Listen, this league's fine margins, Gareth. You know, there's not a lot between any of the teams. Again, you look at Saturday away, Ayr, 2 mistakes. That's inevitably how games are won and lost in this division. And it's been our Achilles heel. You know, listen, when a team goes and scores a goal from 30, 40 yards, it's a wonder goal. You all applaud and say well done. But at the moment, the manner and the goals that we're losing is easily avoided all over the pitch. You know, there's teams only really working hard to score goals, and that's my biggest concern. You know, we're marking space rather than marking players. You know, players score goals, not space. So we've worked on that, we've spoke about it, and hopefully tomorrow we see a different outcome.
And last time out against St Johnstone, it was of course that draw away from home, a goal of the season contender from Eamon Brophy that day as well. Is there much you can take from that game? Yeah,
of course. There's loads of positives in the game. You know, yeah, they had a lot of the ball, but again, our downfall on the day was individual errors. You know, we gave them too much respect, albeit we could probably been 2-0 up. You know, we've got some good opportunities early doors. Eamon scores a wonder goal. And then the goal itself comes from a bit of naive play. You know, we're chasing to get a second when we win the game. Just calm down, relax, bring the ball out, recycle it, go around them. And we try to go through them, they cut it out, and then the next minute the ball's in your net 10-15 seconds later, which on the day, yeah, you could have said from their performance they deserved a point, but if we just done our job, we come away with a very valuable 3 points. But that's been the story of the season so far.
And just finally, how is your squad availability shaping up for tomorrow?
Yeah, there's a few knocks, a few injuries. Jacko will be out tomorrow. He's picked up a hamstring strain this week. Keane Taylor has got a sore one this week as well. He'll be out for 2 or 3, 4 months maybe, with an ankle issue. Obviously Ali's still going to be a couple of months, and Michael Harlan's still struggling with his back. So yeah, we're missing 4 key players, but that's the good thing this season with the club and the chairman and Brian Bonner, allowing us to have a bigger squad, that when you pick up injuries like we have previous seasons, then we've got the players to deal with those as casualties. So on that part, I'm really pleased that we've got a very good squad. Everybody's available, everybody's vying for that starting jersey, and like I say, if that was seasons gone by, then we could maybe have been in bother. But like I say, this season with the squad that we've got or assembled, we've certainly got players that can certainly fill voids when players get injured.
The thoughts there of the Gaffer, Dougie Imrie, as we look ahead to another exciting weekend in the Scottish Championship. Coming up shortly, we'll have that brand new item where Cammy Blues will be giving us the absolute lowdown on all of his teammates. But ahead of that, Morton's women captain Laura Darragh recently grabbed a treble in a league match. To talk about that, a little bit more of the season so far, she caught up with Gareth.
Laura, first of all, congratulations on scoring your first career hat-trick. How did it feel to get it?
Yeah, so it felt really good to score against Ayr United, who have started the season really well. Was a positive, and to win 4-1 is a really good result for the team, and I'm just glad that I could contribute to the overall result.
Talk us through the goals as well. What was your favourite from the 3?
So I think the first one, Isla found me with a good pass, just hit it first time towards the goal and hope for the best. Was lucky that it managed to come up and dip the goalie, and so that was a good start for us to get 1-0 and managed to hold the victory for a wee while, because in previous weeks we have scored a goal and then conceded quite quickly after, so we managed to maintain that for a longer spell than we had done. The second one, something that we've worked on a lot, is the press and how we arc a run to press teams and force them into making mistakes from the back. So thankfully we'd put them under pressure, the goalie plays the ball, and I managed to intercept it, take a touch past the player and managed to chip it over her head again. My favourite one was probably the third one, where Olivia has done well on the left and managed to take on their full-back, get a cross into the box. The defenders cleared it, and as she's cleared it, I volleyed it first time into the goal.
And the 3 goals obviously helped that 4-1 win against Ayr United. How would you reflect on the match?
I think overall, defensively we were really strong. They managed to score a goal that was, I would say, lucky. Isla's tried to clear it, it's ricocheted off a few players, it came over, bounced, and then the girls managed to kick it into the goal. But from there we didn't let our heads drop, and we managed to push on and continue to create chances. We had a lot of chances in the game. It wasn't lucky goals or anything. We were all over them, and it was good to see, because in the previous weeks we've maybe struggled in the final third to go up and create chances, or by the time we've managed to actually create the chances, we'd already they conceded a few goals. So the past 2 weeks to have won both games, it's pleasing for the team.
Yeah, of course that has helped the team on to back-to-back wins as well. What do you feel's really clicked recently?
I think defensively we've been really strong recently, and there's been a few tweaks in the team, and I feel like we're kind of finding our feet now, and it's taken a bit of time. We've had really good performances in the season so far. We've had a couple of really disappointing results, like the Renfrew game where we went one ahead and then conceded, and the heads just dropped. But besides that game, I would say there's been good performances, and we've just not managed to get that result. So in the past 2 weeks, it's good to see it all coming together, and we just really need to now find some consistency and look forward to Sunday, where we're going to be up against a team that have had really good results in the past few weeks, and they're in form. So we just need to go up there and try our best to get something from the match.
Yeah, and in terms of the recent matches, how much has it really helped the confidence of the team? And on top of that, what's the message been from the management side of things?
I think having scored 7 goals in the past 2 games, it's going to help with the confidence going forward. Personally, for myself, I know I kind of lacked confidence when it came to actually scoring goals. So to have scored 5 this season, which is already more than I did last season, is something that I can build on personally. And in the team, you can see that we're growing more confident in terms of playing out from the back and following the manager's message of let's get the ball down and play, be confident, be brave on the ball, because it's something that we maybe lacked, where we would just look to go long majority of the time just to get it out our defensive half. But now I feel like our centre backs are taking the ball under pressure. We're finding our centre mids, and we're playing through the thirds, which is something that Gary and the coaching staff have really asked us to do since they've come in.
And I suppose as well, not just when it comes to the message from the coaching staff, but as a captain yourself, how important is your role to keep the team spirits high when you're in such a good run?
Yeah, well, considering we've won back-to-back games, it's something that we've not managed to do consistently for a long period of time. So I think the vibe's good at training and the atmosphere is good, but we know it's only 2 games. We know that we're still got a long way to go. Inverness are 3 points ahead of us. We're wanting that top 6 finish, so I'll just try and keep motivating the girls to stay consistent. And I think the work that the coaching staff have done this year, there's been a dramatic change in terms of we're now in at Cappielow, we're at the gym, we're doing analysis. There's a lot of coaching staff there working behind the scenes with Gary, that we're all working towards that same goal, and top 6 is something that we believe as a group that we can achieve, and hopefully we can kick on and look to the top half of the table.
There's a few funny ones, but I think I'd say Jacko, Cammy Ballantyne and Michael Gary. Before training or a game, there are obviously a few boys that try and look after themselves, do the right things. In terms of after the game, Big Tommy looks after himself, I'd say. Not so much Mona, but in terms of setting standards, Gills is probably always the main voice. There's a few as well. I'd probably say Jacko, Michael Gary as well. He's always wanting to be on the winning team, sorry. There's a few good ones, to be fair. I'd probably say Grant Gillespie. Probably Gills again. I'd say Gills or Eamon Brophy. Oh, that's harsh. Wouldn't really say there's a bad one, to be honest. They're all kind of similar in terms of tracksuits and that. So no one really. Aaron Lyle. Easy one. Aye, definitely Aaron. Kerr Robertson. That'll probably surprise a few people, but I travel in with Kerr and he speaks about the game really well, and I think Kerr could be a wee dark horse for manager or coach. I'd be up there probably. Michael Gary would definitely survive the longest, or Shug, he'd survive the longest, but in terms of I'd probably struggle on a desert island. I think this has happened recently for the Airdrie game. I'll not name him, but if I was to just go off the top of my head, I'd say Dylan Corr.
Cammy Blues there with his unique take on his teammates. It's also worth pointing out, in light of Laura's hat-trick, that Morton's women's team are up against Dryburgh Athletic this Sunday in the last 16 of the Scottish Power League Cup. The game is at Parklee and it's at 2 o'clock kick-off, so come along and support the girls. We go out tonight with highlights from the last game against St Johnstone, and before that, an interview with Dylan Corr. Thanks for joining us on the programme. Remember to get behind Dougie and the boys this weekend, and the girls as well on Sunday.
Dylan, it was obviously a sore one to lose as late on last week against Ayr United, but looking back, how would you reflect on the 90 minutes?
I don't think there was much in the game. I thought both teams didn't create too much, and at the end of the day, it's just came down to a kind of sloppy mistake from us at the end of the game. But listen, we just need to kind of bounce back for that and go again. There
was, of course, that big moment at the end. Jimmy saved the penalty. You've been first to react and get the ball away. You must have thought at that moment the tide was going to turn in our favour.
Aye, for there you'd think we'd kind of get a bit of momentum, and it's obviously late on. You'd think we'd go and get the winner, or at least just take a point. It's a good point down there, but again, it was the same as the Thistle game. It was just slack for us at the back, and we just need to tidy up on that. And we're back out on the pitch here at Cappielow tomorrow. How important is it going to be to try and bounce back and react at the first opportunity? I know it'll be massive. We know what we can do at home. We can make it a tight game. I don't think anyone's really came here and played us off the park yet, so we'll be looking to build on what we've done previously. St Johnstone, a team obviously coming off of their first league defeat of the season last week, a team similar to us that's going to be hurting after last week's result. What sort of challenge and response are you expecting from them tomorrow? Aye, they'll be right fired up for it. That's their first defeat of the season, so they'll be looking to come here with everything they've got and give us a right good challenge, but we'll be looking to step up to it as well. And what's the message been from the Gaffer this week? Just obviously we've went over the game at the weekend. That's behind us now. We can't do anything about it, so we just need to get back to doing what we do best, and hopefully we can come out on top. And of course it was that draw last time out against St Johnstone as well. How much confidence can the team take from that match up there? Aye, can take everything from it. We matched them man to man that day, and we'll be looking to do the same again, just get right after them. And for you personally, you've of course come into the team recently, had a good run of games behind you now as well. How have you found it getting back out onto the pitch? I know, I've loved it. It was also a tough time for me being on the sideline, but coming back into the team, I've loved every minute, and I just need to keep getting better. Yeah, you mentioned there it was obviously a tough start to your time at the club, but how pleased have you been to actually get out there, get minutes under your belt and get that match fitness back up? Aye, it's been good. I'd still say there's a good bit to come from me. There's some few things I'd like to tidy up on, but that will just come as the games come on.